All right, so let's check this out. Four classes. The communities I like. And the new adversaries, of course, So I know that was fast, but we're going to go through and kind of, well, let's see what we can go through. If y'all haven't checked out Todd Kendrick, he does a lot of Critical Role news, but he also has been covering Daggerheart ever since it came out. Because he did like some Drakenheim stuff, and then he released like a bunch of this stuff. As far as I know, this was the first place I saw any of it was on his channel. So make sure you sub. That's so crazy. 31K. You throw that Matt Mercer name in there, boy. They love it. Let's check this one out first, and then we'll watch the Just Matt one.
A lot going on with Daggerheart, and we were talking about momentum before, but we've got this new book coming out, Hope and Fear, but there's also a bunch of other things that are really exciting. Can you run me through some of this? This is like a lot of stuff that the community has been wanting or hoping for. That's not going to be the last Daggerheart book. There's more content beyond even
hit
that.
my little side.
We got a lot
thing.
Give me the breakdown
that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Well, one
We
big
do
thing
this so I can hit space
the
to
community
pause.
very much let us know that we hoped they would be interested in, but
I'm getting the limited this time. Not gonna miss it. I got the regular core pre-order because I was like, I don't need the limited edition. And there was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. And I was just, why didn't I get it? I'm getting this one mainly because I want a GM screen, even though I won't use it because I don't play physically or in person. But this looks like an oversized D20, and this is all concept art, so they may not do that, but that'd be cool if they did a big fat D20 with it.
very much confirmed. We are doing the GM screen for Daggerheart to have all the pertinent information there, easily and available. That will be coming very, very soon as well. We also have, we have so many adventures are coming. Like we are developing internally and partnering. There are so many.
It's funny because I'm gonna try to catch it if I can. But there was a point where when they start talking about the adventures, I don't think Daggerheart was necessarily made for adventures. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And it's okay if you want to play an adventure in it. It's limiting to have a set path for a Daggerheart game. Unless whenever I say a set path, it's like, obviously you can have a big bad that's going to do the big bad thing. And then your players are working towards how to, stop the big bad thing from happening. But to have point to point mapped out, you go to this city, these NPCs approach, say these things, this is how they can respond. And it's kind of like, if you don't respond the way the book wants you to, the person running the adventure might try to put you, more railroad back to the path. Some people like to play like that, but I don't think Daggerheart was meant for that. But again, the Knights of Last Call, I mentioned that channel earlier, the guy Derek on there, he made a very good point. He's like, Daggerheart played at its worst is basically 5th edition. Like you can get that same experience from it, except less headache as far as rules. But literally, Daggerheart at its worst is just like everything else, but at its best, it can be something that people aren't normally used to playing.
Any awesome things down the pipeline for you?
That being said, I will buy whatever adventure comes out and maybe make my players run it. Who knows?
You two just...
Because, hey, an adventure, I could probably jam through an adventure. Like, with our actual play that we have, pacing is not my strongest.
Jump in and run, amazing settings, but like specific adventures, it's happening. This is all happening so fast, so we're desperately trying to keep up with it.
And we have also the fear tokens coming, also the adversary cards, which...
Hallelujah. I'm so ready for these cards.
I, as a GM, can't wait to have, not only so I can have my...
Somebody needs to make this. Here's free money idea. Look up playing card holders. Make that a playing card holder, or well, one, you can make them for players, but also for GMs for their adversaries. Because like you'd have to wait until we figure out how big the cards are, and then you can make it, make it size appropriate. But dude, something to like put all your cards in, so you just put all your adversaries up. Oh, sick.
My baddies fanned out in front of me, but also with new art on them by the wonderful Sean Ellis, because I know that not only would GMs love to have all of those adversaries on cards, but more art, and we will be delivering that. And the other thing for me that's so exciting is amidst all this, with announcing Hope and Fear, the GM screen, the fear tokens, the adversary cards, none of those are the 3 products we teased at Gen Con.
Yeah.
So at Gen Con, we announced that we are also working on a campaign setting for Daggerheart. We are working on an epic adventure for Daggerheart, and we are also partnering with 2 Together Studios on a setting. None of those are Hope and Fear. So just to give you an idea of how much is in the...
Dagger hype is real. They are coming out with so much stuff, dude. It's awesome. I'm so excited.
Works for Daggerheart.
It's going to be so good.
GM screen, adversary deck. The Tome of Rolling, the GM screen is going to come with these really great...
I can't remember what the Tome of Rolling is. I think they go over it in the live stream. We'll try to find out.
Little Archimedean solid rhombic D12, like slice in the middle, sit on top of your GM screen, fear trackers, so that folks can just have a really great visual threat of how stacked with resources the GM is for their players at the table.
One of the cool things that we are able to do with this new expansion is we're able to offer a unique set of experiences that you wouldn't get out of core.
It is a wave.
I like that, literally it's just giving you more stuff. It doesn't seem like, it really feels like an expansion pack, like it's literally like more classes, more adversaries, more campaign frames, more of what the core book is, essentially, without all the how to play stuff. Literally, it's just an expansion of all that. Dude, if they price this junk at like $40, people are going to lose their shit. It's going to be awesome.
That is coming.
Maybe with tariffs, it won't be like that, though. This isn't the
It sounds so creepy.
No, it is.
That's the fun of it, though. The wave is coming.
The dagger wave.
I know. It's so hard. It's so hard as game masters we always will go into it, and then you see as it crests the horizon.
Force of habit, I guess.
Yes.
Tell me what was the most important thing to like capture in this book. It feels like an everything book. Like this has something for the game masters, the players, and it is full of adversaries that I love and that are people are going to have a lot of fun with. So tell me a little bit about
packed cover to cover.
Well, and I think they may mention it. I noticed this book, to me, it seems like not necessarily the frames, but the classes are some of the more, because I think they say it like the core rulebook is very much so that heroic fantasy, genre. And I feel like this book is like kind of exploring a little bit more of the dark stuff, because it's like witch and warlock and assassin, and brawler, which brawler's just like kind of gritty, I like that the brawler, they have a monk basically, but then they also have just like a pugilist, and I feel like all four of those would be found in some kind of, I feel like all four of those are like Path of Exile characters or something, like, it's literally like these four characters, you choose from these four, and you're playing a video game about a city being ruled over by a vampire or something like that. Some kind of dark fantasy, more dark fantasy stuff, I guess.
With fun new player options, some of which have been seen in an earlier form on the Void, and are now being taken to their final form in the book.
Looks like
and then blending that with stuff that GMs are clamoring for, which is more campaign inspiration and more critters and loot to populate.
Critters and loot, absolutely.
Yeah, it is really a great example of Darrington listening to what Daggerheart fans have said they want, and this book is filled with it. And players and GMs alike are going to find goodies in this amazing alchemy of hope and fear.
Daggerheart's only been out there for a few months, but there's a tremendous interest in playing the game. And I'm getting into as many games as I can by using Start Playing. Start Playing is a great resource for people who want to find any type of game that they want to play, and they want to play right now. So you can search any type of game that you're looking for, any platform, any timing that works best for you. You can look at Game Master reviews. You can choose what type of platform that the game is played on, all on Start Playing. This is a tremendous resource. More than 80,000 players are using it. You get $10 off your very first game session on Start Playing by clicking on the link in this video description, playing Daggerheart or any other game on Start Playing.
Since we're watching his video, here's the video we're watching. Click his link. Since we're watching his stuff on our stream.
Now back to the interview.
So
and he has lots of good stuff on his channel.
We'll be offering one of those adventures that you mentioned.
It is a good place to keep up with Darrington Press news. That's for dang, I'm sure.
And whether a GM decides to run those adventures as written, awesome.
Okay, hold on. I think I'm
on Start Playing.
Sorry, I have HDMI.
Back to the interview.
So on Free RPG Day, we will be offering one of those adventures that you mentioned. And so that will be another chance for people to pick up an adventure, dive into Daggerheart, and if people have already played the Sablewood adventure that we provided, this is a continuation of that. So you can even see a little campaign beginning to brew, and whether a GM decides to run those adventures as written, awesome, but they could also be a source of inspiration for creating your own adventures. And I love adventures as a game master because precisely for that reason, that even if I don't run one, it's always something I can go to for inspiration, for maps, for adversaries, for plot ideas. And so I'm excited for us to bring more and more of that inspiration for people in the months ahead.
I am insanely excited for the adversary decks. That's going to be so helpful. And I've watched you so many times just running through a book. Whether it's a rule or an ability or a monster, like the card system is so elegant for running games and so much easier for someone like me You seem to have a preternatural understanding of where a page number is that I don't understand.
But that's just because out of necessity.
Yeah.
You know, having everything readily, like I've gotten to the point over the years where I just print things out on my own and I cut them out of, I make Excel docs and stuff just so I can have it more readily available. And so that was kind of a lot of Daggerheart's design, was to facilitate that sort of ease of use, both GM and player facing. What I've really loved about Daggerheart is a lot of people who've never played tabletop RPGs pick it up so much faster because the card mechanics, like having it right there available in a very familiar way of playing games, it keeps it.
On our actual plays, Tuglow, 100% is one of those people that hasn't had a lot of exposure whatsoever to Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of tabletop games, and he got it really fast. Like, and it's just because it's like, it is very. It's not hard to understand because there's not a crap ton of intricacy. It can be intricate if you want it to be, but at a base level, just rules is written. It's not super crazy. Now, if you want to layer a bunch of crazy things on top of each other and make it complicated, go for it. But new players, Daggerheart's good for new players, I think.
Immediate, it keeps it present, and there's a lot less choice paralysis. There's a lot less questions about how these things function. We were hopeful that would be the case through testing, of course, but like people have just really appreciated that, and that's even further informed the design as we go forward. But like having the adversary cards as a GM, it's an easier, it's what I've been trying to do for myself over the years, and now we have a much more formal way, and I'm sure it'll also lead to some very weird tarot readings.
Yes.
How do I interpret
What if they're going to be
this?
tarot card size?
What does it mean that I drew a minor chaos elemental?
We have a variety of really eclectic, very specific genre-focused campaign frames.
So tarot cards are 2.0 versus playing cards. I love how it's like tarot. I look it up, right? Tarot cards are larger. Then they proceed to give tarot cards are 2x4. Playing cards are 3x7. Fucking playing card, have you ever held that 7 inches long? You know what? Yeah, a playing card is 7 inches long. You know what, Google? You're right. Playing card is, yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Okay, so like bridge and poker size cards, like playing card size, right, is what they actually are. I mean, some adversaries are beefy, like their descriptions are huge. I wonder if they'll go with the large size, which is essentially a large size is like 2.5 of the other playing cards stacked on top of each other. Yeah, I'd prefer like a big old card like that, like a 3.5 by 5.75, as opposed to like a tarot size, which I think literally it just looks a little bit longer. But knowing Darrington, they'll probably do like a tarot size, you know. In the live stream from PAX, they say, I think he might say large size.
That are eminent. Can you walk through those real quick?
Yeah, so like campaign frames in Daggerheart are designed to be a very welcoming introduction to like snippets of world and genre that might inspire you to want to run a game there. You know, a campaign setting can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whereas a campaign frame is something that not only can you read quickly and understand and get.
Because from my understanding, a campaign setting is just a book with information, as much information about a place as it can have. So there's no, in Daggerheart, you know, there's not as much in Daggerheart. They encourage you to let you and your players, if you are the GM, everybody helps build the world. A campaign setting leaves no room to build the world, like a frame does.
And real quick, what are those new campaign frames?
Frames are
Hope and Fear.
Well, they were just saying the frames are meant to build stuff. Like Daggerheart is meant to create a story. And I think frames are the best supplement that accomplish that. So I'm like more frames. I couldn't care less about adventures. But like I said, I'm still gonna buy the junk and probably run it with the boys. We'll see.
Has 4 campaign frames.
One of the ones that we're introducing is called Castle High, very much a
Castle High,
fantasy high school experience that dear friends of ours have explored in a really incredible way.
Sam the Tin Man was talking about Castle High.
So I wanted to offer an invitation to a unique type of setting within a campaign frame for people that really want to enjoy, create their own stories in that space.
The one that we...
And with the Castle High, I think Spencer mentions in the live stream, which we won't watch the actual play part of it. Obviously, we're just going to watch the announcements. He was saying that in Castle High, there are the towers, and the towers are based on what kind of player you are. I don't know exactly, like... So basically, what tower you're in might kind of help dictate what kind of game you're playing. And so that could be actually really good for like mega games or West Marches style, where you have, a bunch of players all sharing a world. And you're like, okay, well, these guys are in this tower because they want to do sneaky stuff, which is like what the one they were in, the Stern Tower, which is like where they're supposedly really strict on the students. And so it's like, you got to sneak out to go do stuff. And it sounds kind of like that same thing where in Campaign 4, they have their 3 different groups. I don't remember what they are. But like one is they want to dive into the lore. One is like, they want to dive into the sneaky stuff. One is like, we want to dive into the combat where, hey, fighting is the name of the game. But that Castle High one, I think if that's what he meant by the towers dictate stuff like that, that's cool. That's really cool.
Co-created is called Reign of the Were-Dragon.
And so the one Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford co-created.
The one that we co-created is called Reign of the Were-Dragon.
And I don't think this is the other thing that they were talking about they're working on. Now the Reign of the Were-Dragon actually sounds really cool to me. Very, I think they use Sleeping Beauty as the example, which is like kind of like, that's old school, But I'm like, I like vanilla ass old school stuff, man. Love it.
And it is a blend of high fantasy and fairy tale and kind of a little shade of horror. Has numerous inspirations. Probably the biggest ones that spring to mind are Sleeping Beauty. It was one of the inspirations for this.
A campaign frame that is really in its bones a dark fairy tale campaign frame. Mm-hmm. It is all about those fairy tales where there is beauty, but also a villain whose shadow is cast over an entire fairy tale land, hence the night in the title, both literal but also metaphorical. And what are the heroes going to do in this benighted land that is under the dark wings of the Were-Dragon?
Mm-hmm. There's also the Dark Heart of Andaluria, which is very much a vampiric, gothic, sort of, I want to say like romantic, goth, dark.
I feel like it'd be kind of cool to run like some kind of like Brothers Grimm campaign in that Shadow of the Were-Dragon or whatever it's called. If it's like dark fairy tale, that's literally like, if I'm talking about like the movie Brothers Grimm, that's like kind of like it takes all of the Grimm Brothers fairy tales and stuff and kind of puts them into one world, and they're fighting to free the world from this blight or this area, and it's like stuff like that, it's always so localized. Because and that's a problem a lot of people run into, I think, is, and like personally with our campaign that we've been playing, it probably would have been better to try to focus it into a smaller area instead of saying, oh, it's this whole continent that you got to run across, you know?
Vibe of a particular campaign frame for those who are clamoring for that and want to introduce some of the fantastic transformation cards that also fit into that mood.
Is this double speed? What the fuck was that? Am I tripping? First off, why are we watching 720? Give me that 1080p enhanced bitrate premium, bro. Y'all charging me $20 a month? Turn it on by default. I want to see the pores in Mercer's face.
Goth, dark vibe of a particular campaign frame for those who are clamoring for that and want to introduce some of the fantastic transformation cards that also fit into that mood and theme. And then there's the
no, Matt was just talking like he was on speed for a second, I guess. Holy shit. That threw, I thought I'd click the button.
If you want to expand on that a little bit.
There we are exploring a West Marches campaign. And something, of course, that is very front of mind for anyone watching Campaign 4 of Critical Role. And so this is our opportunity in Hope and Fear to show how you can do that in Daggerheart.
Awesome. I'm so excited for those campaign frames.
And like the more West Marches style, when they say, I think that's more like the traditional actual West Marches, as opposed to the generic catch-all West Marches term for lots of people playing in one shared world. Because it's actually an exploratory hex crawl style where it's like, you know, we're going out on a venture, coming back to the base camp style thing.
Yeah, I really am excited.
And because it could be really good for Daggerheart, because like the whole exploratory nature of it makes that whole collaborative world building very possible.
It was a little tailored for me in a couple of ways, especially looking at the adversaries and some of these campaign frames. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to check it out. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you want to continue to support videos like this, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment. I also have a Patreon, which makes these videos possible. Using that Patreon, I'm able to fly down to LA and conduct interviews, go to conventions, and afford the gear required to make interview content like this. So if you want to support more video content like that, fantastic. Thank you for your support. I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.
Cool. Oh no, Drama Frog exposed. Yeah, y'all check out Todd Kendrick. He's got all sorts of, like I said, one of the premier places to get that Darrington Press news, Critical Role news if you care a ton about that. Man, all sorts of good stuff in there.